Good evening and welcome to Audiotree Live. Today is Tuesday, October 16th, 2012. We're very blessed to have in the studio with us Into It, Over It.
It's a good thing you got that artificial heart. Turn it on and turn it off and expect your friends to repeat the same alcoholic lines. Running on alkaline, a hollow chest better than mine. I finally found the time. We're doing two and you together, writing one more song that's bitter, winter. So don't even bother. How do you sleep at night? How do you look yourself in the eye? How do you sleep at night? I'll wait for the batteries to die. Someone should tell you that your habits are as bad as they seem. How bad? Someone is me. It's the company you keep. They can't seem to keep their mouth shut. Well, then, okay, but easier to say than to do. But why you? You misunderstood my intentions. I'm not coming over anymore. Turn around and walk out that door. If we're having fun, then it's worth it. If we're having fun, that's worth it. If we're having fun, then it's worth it. If we're having fun, that's worth it. Well, are we having fun? 'Cause I'll show you what you should have done. Could have been better off just letting your body on fire. Could have been better off just letting your body on fire. Could have been better off just letting your body on fire. Could have been better
Hells yeah! Into It, Over It. Audiotree Live. Beautiful, you guys. Beautiful. Evan, I'd love to hear from you and the rest of the guys in regards to what sort of things did you hold sacred before the age of 10? What things were you into when you were a youngster?
What sort of things I like to say?
No. What things were you into? Like, what did you like?
What did I
you
like
hold?
growing
Yeah,
up?
like what did you hold sacred growing up?
I was really into grunge.
Yeah.
Like, really into grunge. Like, my parents bought me Nirvana's Nevermind the year that it came out. And I was, like, so fucking stoked on grunge music. And then it was about, this full love of, Pearl Jam and Nirvana and Alice in Chains and Green River and all this bullshit. And then I got to middle school, and I went into a record store, and I heard Sunny Day Real Estate for the first time.
Right.
And that was kind of what brought me to punk rock. And it's funny because usually people get into hardcore first, or they'll get into punk first, and then find emo and indie rock from that. But I found emo first.
Yeah, you went the other way.
Kind of like started going to shows through that, and then that's how I found hardcore and punk.
Dope. No, that's cool, man. What about you, Owen, man? What things did you hold sacred before the age of 10?
I, growing up, listened to a lot of Beach Boys.
Yeah, man.
Like, not like Pet Sounds, like greatest hits because my dad had it.
Yeah, of course.
The ones that fade out and fade into every single song.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I don't know. I didn't really get into like my own music probably until I was like 16. So I was just listening to like Elvis Gospel and Jimmy Buffett.
Hey, dude, that's okay.
But yeah, I went to Metro with a friend because he had just gotten his license.
Nice.
And it was Russian Circles, Red Sparrows, Breather Resist, and Pelican. And I remember sitting in an empty Metro and hearing the Breather Resist bass tone for the first time and just like...
Brain explosion.
Yeah, I've just like never had like... That's the only like life-changing concert I think I've ever had where it just like totally changes your direction on everything you've ever like...
That's a Gibson Artist RD with a rat, is what that is.
No doubt. Matt, what about you, man? What were you into when you were a youngster?
Just music-wise?
Hey, man, it could be anything. I like Smurfs and Hot Wheels and shit.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking, everybody's...
We could talk about anything.
Yeah, man.
Skateboarding.
Yeah, man. Who was your dude? Was like, Tony Hawk your guy, or were there
Probably
other...
Andrew Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Reynolds. Yeah, he's
Dope. Do you still skate?
Or Eric Costin's tray flips are so buttery. But also...
Talk about it,
Yeah, I
man.
still skate a little bit. I got a new skateboard for my birthday this year.
Happy
which was-
birthday, bro. Yeah, man.
It was
Dude,
great.
Rodney Mullen. You remember Rodney Mullen, all the Flatland stuff?
Yeah, no big stuff. But music-wise, I was always... My parents always played, like, REO Speedwagon.
Sure.
And, like, stuff like that. But then also, like, really into pop country. Like
Yeah.
The Dixie Chicks. and
Take it.
Stuff like
No,
that.
that's
So
cool, man.
That's what I was exposed to.
That's a good shit, dude. So
Other than that, just skateboarding, though.
Dope. Dope. How about you, Nick?
When I was in grade school, I had a babysitter play me Green Day Dookie, which
Yeah.
was like the best thing that ever happened. So I was like, oh man, dude, this is like the jam. So I was really into Green Day for a while.
Did you just stare at that cover for like
Yeah,
hours?
and I was just like, oh, I just like gotta find all the like Waldo,
Right.
like crazy stuff in there.
Punk Where's Waldo?
Yeah, yeah. It's like
No doubt.
Monkey and Bomb and all that stuff. And I was also really into Ninja Turtles, like really into Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Which one did you want to be, man?
Dude, I really, really wanted to be Donatello because if you remember so he's like the brainy one. and
You're
he
the
does-
man, dude. Nobody ever wants to be
Dude, Donatello does
Donatello's the
machines. He's
jam.
got like the skyscraper machine that's an espresso machine, and I'm just like, yo. And it's like, and then it squirts out like a little drop of espresso, and then it's like Michelangelo like discoing, and I was just like, nah, man,
The coffee.
I needed to be Donatello.
You're dropping science, Nick.
Yeah, and no problems with purple.
Yeah.
Right.
Purple's royalty, man. We're in the studio with Intuit over it. Evan, Matt, Owen, Nick, thank you guys so much for being here with us tonight. It's lovely.
Thanks for having us.
Are you ready?
Let's do it.
You ready, y'all?
A split-second decision-making process. I'm taking breaks from back-breaking posture. I'm heading down spiral staircase, turned around. Bated breath I can see in front of me. I'll push tempo through tapping teeth. I'll breathe out to turning and right now. So if it's not too late for introduction, sake I would draw my most money savings to make the night fun. But if we're taking bets, this is probably as good as this night gets for the sake of
Into It, Over It. Audiotree Live. Thank you, Evan. Thank you guys so much. Evan, you just got back from a really nice European tour. That must have been a lot of fun, eh?
Yeah, with the European trip.
Yeah, man. I'm hoping you can share a memorable day from that tour with us, man. Like a really wonderful day. I'm sure every day was extraordinary, but
So there was a show. The first part of the tour I was in UK with a band called the Polar Bear Club, and then the second part of that tour, I was completely alone, and I was just traveling with a guitar and a backpack, and the backpack had all my stuff in it and like some CDs and some stuff, and I'd never traveled alone before. Not even, like, I've done it in the States in my car, but I've never done it alone, like just taking trains and planes and buses and stuff to get to shows in Europe.
full on.
So the first day I fly into Finland. I was going to Helsinki, and I'm terrified. I'm just worried something's gonna happen because I'm completely by myself. And but I meet up with this dude Niksu, who's like the guy who's gonna be taking care of me in Finland.
Right, like your translator and stuff.
Not even a translator, because people in Scandinavia speak the most amazing English. They're flawless with it. And but you know, he's like showing me around and he's talking to me about sauna, which is a very popular thing in Finland.
It's a very big sport there, man.
I'm thinking about sauna. To me, I'm thinking like Turkish sauna, which is like a steam room. But sauna in Scandinavia is like a dry heat sweat box.
Yeah, man.
And so the second day he takes me, I was like, yes, I want to do sauna. Fucking pumped on sauna. Got to do this. I'm in Scandinavia. Like, I might never come back. Like, I got to do it while I'm here. So he takes me, and it's this room. You walk in, and it's like there's a giant wood-burning stove in the middle of the room. And I'm thinking still, up until I walk into the room, I'm like, it's going to be steamy heat, you know? And but you're naked in this hot, like, sweat box room with, like, 15 other Finnish guys, and you're sitting on, like, a little plank of wood, so your butt is on fire. And you're wearing Crocs because the stone
The floor
ground,
is hot.
the stone ground is so hot, it's like walking into an oven. So we sit down, and I'm like, man, this is really fucking hot. And when you throw water on the wood, it makes the whole room instantly hotter. And so some guy throws water on the hot embers, right? And I'm sitting up at the top, and immediately I had to like run out the door and go outside. And the temperature is up on the wall, and when I was in there, it was at 90 degrees Celsius, which is like 130 degrees Fahrenheit, 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
Were the planks like a whole bench, or were they individual planks?
Individual planks as a whole bench. And so, I run outside, and and I'm naked. So I run outside, and I'm naked, like, and what you're supposed to do is
In Crocs.
In Crocs, yeah, just, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to run into the lake. So you're naked, and you finish the sauna, and you run into the lake, and you cool down, and then you run back inside, and you go sit in sauna again for another 5 minutes. And so, I did this twice. But, it's definitely an amazing cultural experience in Scandinavia.
That's awesome stuff. Yeah, I think the world champion sauna guy is Finnish, I think.
Well, they were telling me, too, that there was a championship competition a year or so ago.
And the guy passed away.
No,
right?
it was a Russian guy and a Finnish guy, and there's apparently a huge rivalry between Russia and Finland. But so the dudes pounded, these two guys, like, took a bunch of painkillers before they went in, and were both trying to outdo each other. And so at one point, the room was at 120 degrees Celsius. And it got they'd been in there for an hour.
Yeah, the guy got
And
burned.
the Russian guy
died.
died. He cooked to death. And the Finnish guy went into a coma and then wound up living.
Yeah, and the Finnish guy was like a 6-time winner or something.
Yeah.
He was like the vainglorious
But, like,
of sauna.
It was like apparently Niksu, my driver over there, was telling me that they had it set up so people could watch. And so these people watched this Russian guy cook alive.
I read an article about that. That shit was far out. It was like it just happened.
Yeah.
That's beautiful stuff, though. You jump in the lake, your pores are all open.
Yeah,
boom.
no.
Sorry, let's just take it back to
Your
positivity.
skin turns all red. You're just like, what the hell? Like, I thought I was on, like, burning up.
In Crocs.
Yeah, in Crocs.
Owen loves it that he had the Crocs on.
Is Kate? Where's Kate? Okay.
Here she comes.
Yeah. Does that mic work? A little bit?
This is Audiotree Live, and we're in the studio with Into It and Over It. Into It, Over It.
To it and over.
And over it.
Y'all ready?
Courage, so careful. lines out to carry you along. A patience so sterile, my nights will never end. Cadence of plans which never could pretend or begin to act out inside here. On the bar stools and discount beer, and the chorus lines of hand-picked songs to sing that I just don't know. You play the part of a thoughtless romantic, busy rotation of what goes wrong, but I can't make the lines out to carry us tonight. Play the part of a thoughtless romantic, your busy rotation of what goes wrong, but I can't make the lines out. I'll never make the lines out.
You gotta know, Vince, this is the first time we've been able to play these songs for anybody.
Well, it's a real blessing to have you guys in here, no doubt, man. Thank you guys for sharing with us here. You're getting ready to go on a nice little tour, and it's the eve before that. So we recognize that it's a wonderful thing that y'all are in here with us sharing before you go out and do it for the masses.
This song's about touring, actually.
Dope. There's nothing like touring, man. Touring is a drug, bro.
I guess so.
Nothing like it in the whole world.
If touring's a drug, then I'm high as fuck.
Bath salts are pretty gross.
Frustrated farmers, and we drove through a not so promised land. We've been 18
Into It Over at Audiotree Live. Nick and Evan took it to another level there. That was stratospheric shit.
We've been trying to convince him to do that, Nick, for like 2 weeks because he thinks it's cheesy.
Only as a joke.
He just pulled it out, man.
Rock and roll.
Shit happened. Hey, so you guys are getting ready to go out and nail some songs on the road, Into It Over It style, but you guys are in a band as well called Stay Ahead of the Weather.
Right.
Well, you guys can talk about that a little bit.
Well, Nick and I met at, our two bands played a show together a few years ago, but we didn't really get to really talking about anything until, like a year later, we were at a party, and we were talking about how, what's up?
Halloween party.
Halloween party, yeah, so it's coming
Was
up on
it?
an anniversary, probably.
What were you guys dressed at? No, my
But
bad.
we were dressed as fucking cool hip dudes, man.
Fair enough.
But so we were talking about starting a band, and like we both wanted to do the same thing, and so him and I
Yo,
got
let's
together.
rip off Mock Orange meets Lifetime.
Yeah,
okay,
it was like
cool.
we had this idea. We're like, all right, yeah, let's just fucking start a band and be fun. And Nick and I hadn't played music together yet, and I was kind of hoping that, you know, it would like it was really cool because we started playing together and we clicked musically instantly.
Right on.
And so we wrote these 5 songs that were for this band. And for a second, I was considering asking about using them as Into It Over It songs because I had to record songs for a split. But then I would just ask Nick if we could write 5 more songs for that. But we still had these other 5 songs just kind of chilling, and we didn't really know what to do with them. And we were kind of like looking for people to play with us, and we couldn't really find anybody. And then Matt and I started working together at Threadless in Chicago.
Yeah, man.
And one day we just like we were hanging out doing something, and we started playing guitar together. And I was like, dude, do you want to be in a band? Like, it was just that easy, you know. He like showed up, we showed him the songs, and he wrote awesome stuff. And then we couldn't find a bass player, and our friend Bobby originally was playing bass. He just kind of learned the songs really quickly, and then we recorded the 7-inch like a week later.
Wow.
But then Bobby was really committed to his other band. He plays in a band called Native, and he was really committed to his other band. So when he left to focus more on that, Owen just kind of swooped in and took the reins. Like, learned the songs in 2 days and then played a show with us. And
Rad.
yeah, and it's been going ever since. And we've written some song it's a really casual, fun band. Like, there's no expectation. There's no like pressure, which is what makes it really, really great. But when it came time to do this tour, it was kind of like, oh, you know, I suggested it to Nick because Nick played drums on all the Into It Over It songs. I was like, hey, do you think you could go on tour? And then kind of worked out where all 3 of them were able to take off 2 weeks and be able to do it.
Awesome.
So, you know, with this tour, we're you know, discussing like, oh, well, should we do the Stay Ahead of the Weather stuff? And, you know, yeah, we should, because Stay Ahead never gets to tour ever.
Yeah, man.
And we should play these songs for people who maybe have never gotten to see them or maybe never will see them. So.
Awesome. Well, beautiful. And you guys are about to share one of those songs with us right now, aren't you?
Yeah. This is the first song we wrote.
Between you and me, I'm a person that's got skeptic of unfamiliar things. So when every evening ended at a more familiar time, I checked it on.
Into It Over It. Audiotree Live. Extraordinary, you guys. Hey, I'm really interested to know amongst the four of you guys, have you guys ever experienced anything paranormal?
Yo, Nick and I did.
Paranormal. Talk about it, Owen.
Do you remember when we went to that bar and saw all the ghost hunters?
Oh yeah, but I mean, okay.
pretty
So,
paranormal.
so there's this bar in the suburbs called
Paranormal.
Country House. It's called Country House, and it's like got this big wooden theme, and like everything's like wood, and there's a second floor, but there's nothing on the second floor, and they've got food and you can eat there, and there's also a bar. And the reason Owen and I like to go, because at that point Owen wasn't drinking and I still don't drink. So what we do is we would go eat peanuts, which were free,
Right.
and we'd get sodas, which had refills, and they had picture hunt, like for a quarter. So we'd play picture
The
hunt.
PG one.
Yeah, no, we were not playing Triple X picture hunt. That is not okay.
Oh, right. Like,
Not
how is
safe.
this picture different than the other?
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's 5 differences. So anyway, we're sitting there and we see this no one is eating. Everyone's in the bar except there's this one table where there's like 8 people gathered around it, and they've got all these cameras and stuff like that, and they're all dressed all like in all black, and they've got spiky hair, and it looks like those people on the Travel Channel. And we're like, hey, can we talk to you? And they're like, okay. And we're like, so what's up? And they're like, well, you know how this place is haunted, right? And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, there's like a story about how it's haunted. And they're like, well, we're here to investigate. And so they've got all their like ghost hunting stuff, and they're trying to capture audio and video. And
We were trying to see how long we could go before we would,
before they realized we were kidding.
before we could call bullshit on them.
Yeah.
And we got to this one point after like a half hour, and I'm like talking to one of them, and I'm like, so what?
They were getting real deep.
Yeah, like they were telling us about all the machine equipment and all this stuff, and I'm like, so what is the craziest thing that's ever happened to you with a ghost? And this woman looks deadpan at me and goes, a ghost stabbed me in the leg once. And I look at her, I'm just like, are you serious? And she goes, no, but it felt like it. And I just lost it. I couldn't even handle it. That was
like,
like,
we're done.
Yeah, that was like, okay, I gotta
All
go
right,
eat peanuts and play
cool.
picture hunt.
All right, good luck, you guys.
That's some serious shit. That's like
Yeah.
the unstable, glorious.
But dude, on the back cover of the menu, there's like the story about how back in the day, it was like the restaurant and bar, and there was an inn upstairs where you could stay, and some girl died in the inn or whatever, and that's supposed to be who haunts it.
shit.
So they have this like Photoshop picture of like this like really like low contrast like outline of a woman in the window, like at the top of like the attic. Oh. And so it's like
Spooky vibes.
yeah, real spooky vibe.
Matt's like, no way, dude. What about aliens? Do you guys believe aliens? You ever seen
absolutely.
a UFO and shit?
I've
We'd
never
be
seen
naive
one,
to
but
think that we're the only people.
Am I the only one who's a realist? Are you serious? Are you guys serious?
No, the universe is just too vast. Thank you for sharing that story, Nick. Oh, and thank you guys for real. I love that stuff, man. It being October and Halloween,
Yeah.
it's sort of.
yeah, it's only in like 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, man.
Fuck. We got to figure out what we're gonna wear
Yeah, you guys will be on stage for that mug.
in Chicago.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them our costume idea that actually
No.
won't happen? It's not gonna happen. Come
Yeah,
on.
let's
There's
talk
no
about
way.
it. Tell us.
There's no way. that-
Owen's got to tell you.
Well, Owen came up
Come
with
on,
it, so he
Owen.
can tell you.
I want us all to be gloves, different gloves.
Yeah.
Like I want to be the Arby's oven mitt. I want.
Oh,
you
he could
to
be like the hamburger
that's what I
helper.
wanted. That's exactly what I wanted to be.
Glover, remember that video game Glover? Matt, O.J. Simpson's glove.
Or the sparkly Michael Jackson
Oh,
glove.
geez. Somebody's got to be Michael Jackson's glove, man. That's the shit. I think
Lot
you
of
guys should
sequins.
actually work that out.
A lot of sequins.
I like it. For real.
Bodysuit
So I'm
of
not
sequins.
Yeah, you could go bodysuit.
It's a good idea.
We're in the studio with Into It Over It, Audiotree Live.
She's dishonor, resolve to calm and conceal reaction. Yet I'm so, we're so, this clever disguise of me so sure. Tonight I'm so unbelievably helpless. Pit in my stomach I couldn't begin to shake off. So in the back of my mind, my brain has rendered me silent. The soul around me could ever understand.
Into it, over it.
Y'all ready? Give me 1 sec.
You're listening to Audiotree Live, Chicago.
Chicago, what?
We're in the studio with Into It, Over It.
You three ready?
No, 1 second.
Y'all ready to go?
Saw you leaving early when you showed up late. After a welcome so changed to think of better days, put a smile on my face. I'd like to walk around inside your shoes, between your toe and circle, that's not true. Passing credentials, still the status shoes. I'd rather spend my time my focus and peace of mind, going out instead of sitting on the couch. You can't reinvent this right. I swear there's really more to life. You're so stuck inside your head. First where your days will end. Saw you leaving early when you showed up late. So changed, picking up the pace into a crusade of being fake. Do we base our judgment on what we're calling art? Show of hands, some fortunate friends to swear at the start. I'd have to walk around inside your shoes, so it's circle, that's not truth. You'll have nothing to lose. Too bad I need something to prove. It's a crusade of being fake. It's a crusade of being fake. Inside your
Hells yeah. Into it over at Audiotree Live. Thanks so much, Evan.
Dude, thank you. Thanks to Owen, Matt, and Nick for learning these songs and going
Yeah,
on the
big
road
ups
for
to
2 weeks.
Owen, Matt, and Nick for learning the songs.
Fucking shit. This song is a really, really old one. There's a record called 52 Weeks, which is getting re-released. And this song's on that record, and these songs are almost 5 years. Most of them are almost 5 years old. The first two we played are going to be, well, Artificial's 5 years old now. Fakat will turn 5 on the tour.
Nice.
And then, yeah, it's crazy. I can't believe it's been that long.
It's amazing how time goes, man.
You ready, Matt?
Sorting awful plans we're making. Our permanent locations pending. On advice and time and savings. Our earnings for this week. Counting down to bleeding through my sleep. If I stood Sin City on its side, every bad decision could hopefully be mine. I've picked one hell of a night to start wearing white.
Yeah, man. Into it over at Audiotree Live. All right, you guys, we've weaved our way to the psychoanalytical portion of the session. And I'd love to learn from the four of you guys that if you had to choose a life form other than human being, what life form would you choose to be? Animal, vegetable, or mineral? As the earth is alive, it is a sentient thing. It feels. So if you guys want to be a mountain, a tree, a dolphin, or
I'll
if you
take
want,
the lead on this one since I already know my answer.
you want to be Wolverine or whatever.
My dog Frank.
Oh, yeah, great answer.
You take care of your dog.
Great
I'm
answer.
assuming you take.
He's on the
really-
tour poster.
Oh shit!
If you want to go look at it,
Yeah.
he's one of the most complexly beautiful beings that's ever walked the face of this earth.
That's love, man. When the
Trove-
dog's
trove
on the
family.
tour poster. So you would be the dog. What about you, Evan?
On this past tour, for Kate, for her birthday, I brought her over to London, and we had like a 5-day trip in London. And so on like the 4th day was her birthday dinner, and I wound up, me and my friend Ivano and our friend Chloe, we took Kate to this place called the Hawk Moor, which is a steak restaurant in like the Spitalfield Market area of London.
Right?
And so we go and we have this cut of steak called Chateaubriand, which I'd never had before, but it is single-handedly the greatest cut of steak that money can buy.
Yeah, it is.
And so if I was going to be another life form, I would be a cut of Chateaubriand. So I could give joy to that person the way that cut of meat gave to me.
Beautiful.
Real Ron Swanson.
Protein and shit.
I would be Kurt Ballou
Oh,
because
Yeah.
he's got the coolest band and he's a cool engineer and he's got a cool life and he's got cool amps and what could be cool?
Shit is just personifies cool, man.
He's just cool. And have you seen his dog? And what could be cooler?
Damn. I don't know, man. I mean, Nick, you're pretty damn fucking cool yourself, bro. He's like, no, dude,
No
don't
way.
talk about that. Come on, bro.
No, we're talking about Kurt Ballou.
Kurt Ballou.
Dude, we're talking about that guitar part in Heartless that's like da 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 da. That's the part we're talking about.
Right on.
That's what's
I'm feeling your pulse now. I'm feeling it. Owen, what about you, man? Life form other than human.
Oh, other than human.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well, but see, I roll with you because your boy's like supernatural. You put him in the supernatural.
Well, who would you
state.
be if it wasn't human?
Oh, I don't know, man. I'd probably be Max the Chow Chow. If you look on YouTube, like 2008 Jin Chen is the channel. There's this Chow Chow named Max, and he's just like, it's the best dog I've ever seen.
He's chilling.
Like, no diss on Frank, but like, he's like 80 pounds of fluff, and he's just like the chillest. And you should just like the way he lays down and stuff. Trust me, you check it out.
Adorable.
We'll
dude.
watch it together.
Yeah, dude. Let's hook it up. We'll post session vibe. Come on, Owen. We made it back to you. Life form other than human.
So, to stick with the YouTube thing, the
Sure.
other day, as a group, we watched Gangnam Style being played to 80,000 people.
Yeah.
I would be all of those 80,000 people.
That's human, isn't it?
No,
You
it
just
was-
personified
it's
it.
a
It looked
mass.
like an
You
inhuman
would be like
experience.
that
It's a wave of humans.
concert amoeba of humanity. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. We're
Yeah.
in the studio with Into It Over It. It's been a beautiful session, man. You guys got one more for us?
Yeah, absolutely. We had an
Evan.
awesome time. Thanks for having us.
Oh, Evan, Matt, Owen,
Yeah,
Nick,
thank
thank
you.
you guys so much for being here, for real. And good luck on your upcoming tour, man. For
You're
real.
actually doing us a favor because this was a really great dress rehearsal for like playing the songs for other people.
For everything but Brenna. Maybe we can cut that from the website. Because I see we're running over. So like,
No, we're good, man. We're spot on here.
You did it okay. You did it okay. First show
I
jitters.
forgot how to count.
You're the man, Nick. Don't worry.
Y'all ready?
Somewhere between caffeine and nicotine, and we'll find
Audiotree Live. Thank you again, you guys. Thank you guys so much. Good luck on your
Thank you for
upcoming
having
tour,
us.
man. You guys are grinding. You're in Cleveland tomorrow night. Then you make your way to Philly, New York, Boston, Hartford, Baltimore, Richmond, West Columbia, Orlando. Then you got a threefer in Gainesville. That'll be sweet. Atlanta, Louisville, and then you're back here for your Chicago show on Halloween with the Hostage Calm and Owen. And that's going to be a great night of music. The city needs to come out for that, not to miss it. It's been a beautiful. Let's give our videographers a round of applause here. Brian, Jane, Justin, and Megan. Our engineers in there rocked it today. Rick and Patrick. Yeah, man. Michael and Adam on the webcams. It's been a wonderful night again. Thank you guys again, man, so much. Matt, Owen, Evan, Nick. This has been Audiotree Live for Tuesday, October 16th, 2012. We've been in the studio with Into It Over It. My name is DJ Evil Vince. Everybody have a very safe and beautiful night. Good night.
Brothers. Dudes. Thanks for having us, man.